Hi, everyone. Welcome to Inside Futsal number 8 of the UEFA Euro 2022 series. And the show keeps going, the games keep rolling, and we have one of the best journalists out there in Portugal, my family's beautiful home country out there, from Zona Técnica, and one of the best sporting, knowledgeable people on the planet, whether it's futsal, football, roller hockey, all the sports that they do out there. Maria, Pinto, Jorge, welcome to the show. How are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm very fine, Kris. Thank you very much for having me. I think what you've been doing so far, it's so amazing. I saw the one with Paula. It's very important, not so have Portuguese people talking here, but Portuguese women, because we know about a lot about our sports.
No, yeah, absolutely. Paula was fantastic and super passionate about the game, just as you are. And as anybody who's been watching the show knows, I'm a very big advocate and promoter of women's futsal, very hard. So we're going to do everything we can to get more female voters on this Futsal Awards panel for next year. We're going to go to the Women's Futsal Euro in Portugal. We're going to be on the ground doing the show and putting a face to the women's game because we need the Women's World Cup. We need women's under 19 championships around the world. We need professional opportunities, more coaches, more referees in the female game. It's not about politics. It's about what's right for the sport and what's right for the girls. And of course, minha avó, my grandmother in Portuguese, for those who don't know what that means, raised me. So it's super important to have this in. Now, tell us, you got great work in journalism out there covering stuff with sporting, but also with the Zona Técnica, which is one of the best futsal sites in the world. Tell us a little bit about your work at the Zona Técnica and about the website and what you guys cover.
So we cover, let's say, everything about futsal. It's like our passion. We just do it for passion, really. If you want to work with us, you just have to send an email and say, hey, I love futsal. I consume so much futsal that I have everything to say about it, and I want to consume it to give information to others too. Then you'll be just fine with us, because that's just all we do. We follow every game of our Portuguese league, uh, play by play, and also with an article in the end of the games. We do resumes of the games in the end of every round. We do like the figure of the round, the MVP, not just for the masculine futsal, but also the feminine. Um, and I think what we do, it's a little bit for us too, because we love doing it. It's like we've w- before I were in Zona Técnica, I already seen the games. I was always or in the pavilion. I don't know how to say pavilions, arenas.
Yeah,
Okay,
the pavilion is okay.
arenas, arenas in Portugal, because I kind of before COVID actually, before COVID, because then everything changed and life was kind of boring for the ones who love futsal. But I always been with my dad since I was a little girl. He made sure to have me going with him to every game. Actually, not just futsal. Futsal is just my thing, but my dad never made that a taboo for me to go with him. Okay, I'm a little girl, but I'm a little girl who knows about what I like, and what I liked was futsal. So he take me. If I was at home watching a game, why not being at home watching that game and informing others who can't watch them? So if you are at home and can't watch the game because you're at work, now we can work at home, thanks to COVID. If we can say that, thanks to COVID, okay. But we have that possibility. But sometimes you can't always go check whatever you want, or you are watching another and you want to know what's going on that match. We have that possibility, and we at the end of the day, even if you weren't at home watching everything we were doing, you have like a resume of everything in futsal. with all the not just the primary teams like in Portugal, it's normal for you just to see in another um, communication means. You can see like Sporting and Benfica. You don't see anything about the other teams, and here in Liga Placar we have a lot of them, not just the Benfica and Sporting, and we have a lot of talent that sometimes, and since we are talking about the Euro too, a lot of Portuguese people actually don't know a lot of players that play without being in Sporting or Benfica. And sometimes I'm going to talk about a polemic thing here in Portugal when we knew the players who are going to be in Euro. A lot of persons were, in me inclusive, were waiting for Mário Freitas from Fundão. But a lot of people were like, okay, Mario who? Mario were in Benfica, Sporting many years ago. Now who is Mario Freitas? Okay, not from Benfica, not from Sporting, but a huge name in futsal, in Portuguese futsal. So we have that possibility. You can know everything about Portuguese futsal and more, because we also in Hero we follow all the games. Actually, I followed Poland, Slovakia. I think I did that one. I'm going to do not the quarter, but after. And we have a huge team who is always able to do that and be here for futsal to inform everyone what's going on futsal, because it's so much important to not be centered in. I mean, everyone knows that Portugal is a football kind of country, but we have, I mean, we are European champions, world champions. We have a team that is also European champions. So why not following a sport that gives everything to us? Is that what they're doing? And that's how we try to, I mean, give to futsal in Zona Técnica.
Yeah, and I love the site. I mean, I have to learn a little bit more Portuguese because, you know, as you can tell by my olive skin and dark hair, well, I wish I had more hair left, but you know, it's something where I have to learn it. It's important, and thank goodness for Google Translate. So, yeah, for people who don't speak Portuguese and can't
Yeah.
read it, you know, you get Google Translate and you get some great information. I love the social media on Zona Technica, and every single person should follow it. I mean, it's one of, in my opinion, along with Futsal Corner and Zero Zero. I know they're your rivals, but you know they're the three best websites in the world for
Yeah.
futsal news, in my opinion. This is just every week it's something good, something great, interviews, insights, scores. I love it. So everyone's got to check out Zona Technica, but of course they got to follow your Twitter and your Instagram and all this stuff too. Now, I know today was a big day for you, right? Not just, you know, with futsal out there. Your beloved Sporting happened to win a match today, which means
Yeah.
you probably celebrated with a drink. So I'm wondering if by chance, maybe this was the cerveja of choice.
No, I mean,
Wasn't it?
to
No.
drink, okay, to pop with you though.
Well, okay.
I
It's
mean,
probably not blue.
you are not even there, so okay, we can do that.
Well, since you don't like the blue of Porto, I thought maybe another drink might be a little better for you. A little red from Benfica. This is the one, no?
I mean, for them, they probably wouldn't like to see their own symbol tonight. So if you want to show them that symbol, okay. I'm happy with that symbol now. It worked out okay, but
Well,
them probably are not.
it's my beloved team, but I think I got the right drink for you. I think right here
True.
is the one that you're looking for. A little bit of
It, it
celebration.
is for sure.
So yeah,
I
so
have
you
the
know,
same one
Sporting.
here home.
I know. I wish I was going to be there. I think it's April 16th. I'm going to the Women's Euro and also to see Portugal, Turkey, and Portugal versus Italy. Of course, if Portugal gets through. And then I want to go see El Pozo versus Inter Movistar in Madrid and the El Clasico. I've never been to see Barca versus Real and it's like a bucket list. You have to do
Yeah,
it
yeah.
before you die,
You die, yeah,
and
for
I'm gonna
sure.
do it all. So I'm gonna miss Benfica Sporting, but I'm gonna follow all your stuff for it to make it happen.
Okay.
So let me ask, you were able to watch some of the games today. Group D action, it was fantastic. We had a
Mhm.
lot of good stuff going on today. In particular, we had, actually, it was Group C and D because it was
Mhm.
4 games. So,
Four
I
games,
mean,
yeah.
I watched Croatia versus Slovakia because I wanted to see this rivalry. And I got to be honest, Croatia were favorites to come in. It was a very open, fast-paced game. Croatia needed to win, and Slovakia comes into the match. 6 matches versus Croatia, they won 0.
Zero, yeah.
So Croatia was heavily favored. And we saw, off the top that, Šmerička from Slovakia came in to give them the lead, and everyone's going, oh, hold on a second, we have a competition. Croatia comes in. Pastruzin caused a great turnover. Got the ball over down to Merinovic, who got it back over to Pastruzin, and we had a tied game again. Then we went back 2-1 Slovakia. Peter or Petr, I'm going to always pronounce that wrong, Kozar, he had an absolutely phenomenal finish. But
Mhm.
the pass from Drahovski, who, while we're on the show, the pop up came on
Drahovski.
my shoe. Drahovski's the man. He actually,
Drahovski.
I kid you
Yeah.
not, while you were talking, a message popped up on the computer. He messaged me. He's coming on the show next week. So
Oh,
we're going to have Drahovski
that's
on.
amazing.
Yeah, we're super happy
Flash
about that.
news, we are having Drahovski.
He's having a phenomenal tournament. We'll talk about him in a
Yes,
moment.
yeah.
But, Drahovski, again, well, I said in a moment, he was the one who set up the 3-1 out there right off the opening whistle. I mean, it was like 2 seconds. They got the ball to him. He made a run. It was a banger. And credit to the Slovakian teammate who screened the goalkeeper so he
Mhm.
couldn't see. And then it was just insane, to see the results of this. It went to 4-1, then 5-1. Then Croatia came back with a couple of goals, including an absolute golazo from Horvat, who's
Yeah, yeah.
probably scored the 2 best goals in this tournament. This guy is, he's trying to test Ricardinho's, top goals list out there, and he's doing a great job. But it turned out that Slovakia ended up winning, 5-3, and
Mhm.
along with Russia, advance over to the next round. So, Maria, tell us, what were your thoughts on the match here?
So I think, like you said, Croatia actually went began the game really driven. They had started better. They felt, but I think they felt all goals too much. How you said, they wasn't expecting, I think, the reaction from Slovakia before they started so rough. But by the end, I think I kind of felt that they quitted um, way too soon. It was still possible to do more. They lost their intensity in some moments of the match, their intensity, or like the drive to fights. You know what I mean? I think in some parts of the game, especially the goals. I mean, that kind of goals were like, whew, that happened, that here happened.
So many
So
highlights, so many.
yeah,
It was amazing.
so you were like um trying to give everything from you from the start. I think they did actually that, but then their driven was going low, 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 and well, how you said, actually, when in doubt, Drahovski appears, and uh, that has been happening not just this game, but actually the one before. I think he's actually everywhere. I mean, he's like God. When you when you're not expecting, he appears. And with that, you all also have his powerful kick that you have no form to defend, and you feel like, okay, his guy will like invent something if they are not doing that right. So I don't know. I thought I was hoping more for Croatia, and I was like kind of disappointed actually for the, I think, the mentality that they showed when Slovakia started to score. Well, oh well, but actually Slovakia was better to pass with Russia. Actually, we'll talk about Russia, and Russia is one of my faves. So
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens. I mean, we spoke about, Drahovski and building superstars for futsal, and this
yeah,
guy, unless you're a futsal fanatico, like Emanuele Riso, he knows what I'm talking about. He is one of those players that really can put futsal on the map in across Central Europe out there. And I mean, right now, I mean, he's won the Slovakian league, he's won the Hungarian league, he won the Czech league. I mean, he's been the best Slovakian player for 6 years. He's only 29 years old. This is the
yeah,
crazy thing. And he plays in the Spanish league for Coloma.
Colombia.
And his ability to really become a superstar in this tournament has been exceptional. It was interesting because he's averaged about 1.5 goals a game in the Czech league for Sparta Prague between 2018 and 2020. And of course, there's a difference from the Czech league and the Spanish league.
Hmm.
But over the 1.5 seasons he's been in the LNFS, he's averaging a goal a game. I mean, he's a legit futsal star. What else can we say about this guy? He's just one of the biggest
Yeah,
superstars now in futsal.
I think it's not just about the numbers because you see him on the field and you're like, whoa, this guy knows how to treat that ball. And this is very important for national teams like Slovakia. You don't have like, it's playing Slovakia, so who am I watching? Now you know who you are watching, and these heroes are so important for that. For because I mean, if Rahovski plays well and scores mounts of goals in Spain, um, he's actually not in a team that is on top or anything like that. So sometimes it's a little by the bushes, like you don't quite see him and don't quite notice him. Uh, at least not much as you should. And here in Euro, you have that possibility to see that he's not just his numbers, he's actually a complete football player. And I think that's amazing. We here in this Euro, we are seeing some talents that not just seeing them, but watching how they can react in this kind of competition because we don't have this um, always. Thank God, with Slovakia going to through the quarterfinals, we have this debut, and we can see how Strahovski can manage also his mentality to play in this ambient actually. Sorry,
No, it's
um,
great.
and see how he turns out if he actually, how you say in Portugal, saca um coelho da cartola, tipo, how he turns out to do those things, and how you said there it is not just him. We are here seeing players doing things that actually deserve our attention and that we talk about them because it's not just the same players every time, the same national teams. We have a bunch of them, and I'm talking about that because Portugal is kind of important now, but some years ago it was like a Slovakia but with Ricardinho. It's not Portugal, it was Ricardinho's team. You don't you Some years ago you didn't even knew what I mean, more two players from Portugal. Yeah, I think probably it can happen here in Slovakia, but if they keep managing it, Drahovski will be a mean to the end of what Slovakia wants to do
And you
and
know
to
what?
show actually.
Oh, I mean, they're going on to the next round, and
Yeah,
we'll finish off the group very quick. I mean, obviously, we were watching Croatia, Slovakia, but in the other group, match of the day was Russia versus Poland. And I think the Russians, they've proven themselves to be the team to beat. They are
yeah.
fantastic. And today it was Sokolov, Davidov, Milovanov, and of course, everybody knows Chishkala, one of my personal favorites out there, with a pair of goals as well. So, I mean, not to knock Poland, but there's a big difference between the level in Russia and the
Yeah.
level of Polish futsal. It's going to get closer as the years go by if the Polish Football Federation invests into their futsal program. They have great athletes there, but Russia right now, they have to be the team to beat according to everyone, and that 5-1 result sees them finish top of the group with 3 wins, and they've only allowed 2 goals from those 3 games. Oof, watch out for these guys. What's your thoughts moving forward? I mean, the quarterfinals. We'll get to. Actually, we'll get to that after. We'll talk about what was happening with Spain, Georgia, and Azerbaijan, Bosnia. But were you surprised for Slovakia to advance? Who did you have in Group C to move on to the quarterfinals before the tournament started?
So Group C was the Russia. You're talking about
Yep,
Russia group, yeah. Russia, Poland, and
Slovakia and
Slovakia and
Croatia.
Croatia. Yeah, probably Russia and Croatia. I think we all were expecting that. Like Russia is a shark, how we say here, is a shark to beat. But I thought Croatia would do better. Um, but Slovakia is a quite good surprise, and I think futsal has a lot to gain from that. I want just to say some thoughts about Russia. Russia is like my top 3 teams here in this Euro. I have to say Portugal, of course, but Russia and Spain. We are going to talk about Spain, but now about Russia. For sure, the team to win. They are no doubt one of the favorites. Probably if we see here Portugal, Russia, it will be so damn good. It's just that I want is to have some beautiful futsal games because I think there are 2 teams that can, I mean, testify one another so damn well. It will be great to see them, and I mean, only suffer 2 goals, like 2 goals in 3 games. It's not for every team. It's not for every competition. I mean, it's not like playing some summer vacation, waiting for the competition to start in Russia. I think the the way they play and the way they present their futsal is so consistent through all the 3 games. Probably the most consistent team uh, by now in the futsal Euro, and I mean, it's kind of impossible Russia being playing and you don't get just stuck there watching them because it's some beautiful futsal. Just
It's
what I think. Yeah.
it's phenomenal. And honestly, I had to before the tournament, Russia meeting Portugal in the final, and I was supposed to be at this Euro, but the restrictions
Same.
in oh, it was crazy. I mean, could you imagine we're sitting around a restaurant, all the
Yeah.
people in futsal just talking about futsal. You don't get this in
I've
Canada every
already
day.
cried too much.
I know it's if they play in the final, it's going to be good. I have the big screen downstairs
Yeah.
in the living room, but
I
there's
mean, I'm
something
going
else.
to tell you what I was supposed to do. My birthday was on 20th. Portugal played the day before. I was going to Amsterdam to see this game.
Oh, that
And
would have been
then
the
I
best.
was like, okay. But my Pani sent me a message telling me, so since you haven't been here, the goal is for you. And I was like,
That's
thank
amazing.
you.
Pani dedicated a goal to you. That's incredible. I
Yeah.
love it.
Because
I
I
love
was
it.
here crying. It was my birthday and it was Portugal. Okay. Next time.
It's wild. Well, you know what? Before we get into the Group D matches, I did
Yeah.
want to ask you about Pani. Obviously, you're probably a little biased. Is it safe to say you thought, if you had a vote, would have been the best player in the world for 2021?
For sure.
I had him
For
as
sure.
number one as well. I've said it a couple times. No disrespect to Fahal. I mean, he's an unbelievable player. Had a good year for
No.
sure. But
I
it was Pani
love I
Varela's
love
year.
Raul, no doubt. I love it was for sure.
Let me ask you, do you
Like it
think this?
was Panis Varela's World Cup.
I was just about to say, you took the words out of my mouth. Pani should have had the golden ball. I'm not going to take
Sorry.
anything away from Ricardinho at all. it was thing. But Paula made a good
Yeah.
point that, and I agreed 100% because this was in my mind before all of the shows, is that they should have gave Ricardinho
Mhm.
like an award for his career, for his contribution to the sport, which is huge. One of
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
probably one of the two
In
most important players.
separated.
Yeah, and then Pani gets it. But I think this hurt Pani in the vote. And Andre Caro made a mention. Paula agreed. I think you agreed as well. You said it before I even brought it up. So it's pretty universal. Let's get back to Georgia and
Yeah.
Spain out there. I mean, Spain put a clinic today out there, 8-0. I changed it after 6-0. And of course, Adolfo scored 2 goals after, which bothered me because I love Adolfo. Tell us your thoughts on, Spain's kind of, bumpy start to the tournament, but this game and what kind of message it sends to Portugal, Kazakhstan, Russia, and the rest of the quarterfinalists.
I think they have shown finally who Spain really is. I mean, this is the Spain I know and grew up to. I mean, not love because I'm not able to love Spain, but to enjoy watching. Let's say that like that. So here in Portugal, I can say I love Spain. But I really enjoyed this team, and I mean, it was for far their best game and like a master class from Spain. Um, they had that tie with Azerbaijan that I think that shaked up a little bit. Because how I was saying to you after restarting, I think sometimes this kind of teams with so much individual talent need to see things in other perspective to actually show us what they really are about. And this Spain is not the Spain that we see in World Cup, in my opinion. But this Spain I saw today, it's the real Spain and the real deal for this quarterfinals. I think, as I said earlier, with Portugal and Russia, the three top teams. I mean, for me, for what I've seen, I mean, Georgia was almost the entire 40 minutes under pressure, and I think that's what you expect from a team with the talents that Spain has. Um, about I don't know if you want to talk a little about Georgia, because we here in Portugal had the opportunity to see some players, and actually we have Tals and Elisandro here, and we have a lot of talent in Georgia, but I think they um, were not a solid team, or at least not so solid how it was supposed to be in this time. We see the classifying; it was like a surprise team and a team everyone was kind of talking around. Now they, I don't to be so literal on that, but kind of lost their sparkle, and that's creativity between those players who has shown so much.
Yeah, I think the pressure that Spain put on them today was simply
Yeah,
too much for them to handle. And what impressed me most is that Spain had 6 different scorers of the 8. Now, one of the goals was an own goal. Adolfo got to the pair, but the performances today of Lozano was just next level. I mean, the second goal that Spain scored from the 10-meter spot, I didn't even see the shot. I just saw it touch his foot, and
yeah.
then I saw the net move. It was unbelievable. So it's good to see, him recover from the injury and be back and being at the top level.
I
If
love Lozano. So
who anybody who
who
doesn't
doesn't?
like
Yeah,
watching Lozano isn't a futsal fan.
that
He's just
man
great.
is futsal. That man is all futsal. That's what I
We're gonna
think. Yeah,
put that in a quote. Lozano is futsal, and
yeah,
it's so great to see him back. I mean, I love it when a player comes back from an injury. I mean, we saw with Ricardinho,
yeah.
that severe injury, and then he goes on to win the World Cup. It was just like it was a Disney movie fairy tale. It was perfect. And with Lozano coming back, it could be the next one if Spain lifts it. Chino had an absolute rocket.
Mhm.
To be honest, Spain were ruthless. It was like watching like a horror movie. If you're Georgia, it was a horror movie. If it was
Yeah.
Spain, it was a comedy, and it was just incredible to see. So now Spain finishes top of the group with 2 wins, and they got 7 points with that draw that they had the other day. Georgia advancing with their 2 wins. Azerbaijan versus Bosnia. I changed it, like I said, to
Hmm.
watch the Azerbaijan Bosnia game with about 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
And I got a message from inside the arena saying, you need to see these Bosnia Ultras. So you had about 20, 30 Bosnian Ultras, all shirtless. There was no,
That's
it was like
amazing.
they were at the beach, in the Algarve, and they
I
were just
actually
singing.
saw the photo you posted on Twitter. It was amazing. I
It
think
was an
that's so
incredible
good.
experience. And even though Bosnia lost 3 to
Yeah,
2, and Bosnia finished with 3 losses. This is a big tournament for them to come into.
it is.
And this was not an easy group. I mean, Azerbaijan is one of the toughest teams in Europe. Georgia, especially with their Brazilian players, has really,
Mhm.
made a name for themselves. And of course, you have Spain. No one has won this tournament more than Spain in history.
Yeah,
And so for them to come in and lose all 3, it's not unreasonable to expect that. But I love the respect that they showed their fans after, and they were not happy to lose, but they were happy to perform,
to
and
be
the
there. Yeah,
fans were supporting them back. So I love that. I hope I see Bosnian futsal grow like it has in the rest of the Balkan region. So now the quarterfinals. Ooh, this is going to be great. A little bit of a political one in the Russia versus Georgia out there.
yeah,
I mean, who do you like in this game? Is Russia has to be favored? No.
yeah. I think I think there's no way for Russia not being favorite. I already said it. It's one of my favorite teams, and I think Georgia has his hands full with that one.
Yeah,
I
that
mean, before with Spain and now Russia, life stuff around there.
it's going to be interesting because I mean,
Yeah.
Spain and Russia, they've always kind of been rivals with each other, and they always seem to play each other. It's kind of like almost a magnet between them. So for Spain to come out and do what they did to Georgia today,
Yeah.
Russia, I mean, they don't play games. Every game, it's about the winning. There is no, okay, we are winning by 3, by 4, let's
No,
relax.
no.
No, they want to make sure that their opponent is dead every single time, and I love watching them because of it. So now, I mean, I think I have Russia, and I think I have them winning by at least 2 or 3 goals. I think
Yeah.
Georgia will be a lot better than what they showed today for sure, but I see Russia just walking through to the semifinals. Now, the next one, Spain versus Slovakia. I would have said any day that Spain would have killed Slovakia, but after seeing a little bit of Slovakia's confidence today,
Yeah.
I got to be honest. I mean, I think it's going to be a little bit closer of a game than people may give it credit for. What do you think?
Probably more closer than this Russia Georgia. So it's not like, I mean, we have to see that Spain had this match now with the eight, right? Or 8 goals. Yeah.
8 goals, yeah.
But okay, it's a good moment, but is a good moment to stay or a good moment to keep going down and up, up and down? We have here a real test for Slovakia, a real test to show that they have the futsal we want to see, and not just that futsal that, when in doubt, I mean, happens to appear. Trahovski, I mean, he will for sure appear, but it has to appear more than him. We don't have to keep putting the weight all in his shoulders, and he won't win Spain by himself. But for sure, I think it will be more tied up than Russia, Georgia.
Yeah, you're absolutely right on that point. I mean, the Spanish players know Drahovski very, very well. They will, take him out of the equation. I
Yeah.
think they're going to need the support. Obviously, Medanovic has been a very big part of them, and obviously Postruzin was a big
Hmm.
part. So I think if Slovakia play the sum of their parts, we're going to see what they can do out there. Now, here's one that I think, honestly, this is going to be the match of the second round. Kazakhstan, top of Group B versus runners up of Group A, Kazakhstan versus Ukraine.
Ukraine. Yeah.
After that Ukrainian performance against Portugal, it was like the Ukraine of old. And I sat back in my chair and said, ooh, I don't like what I'm seeing from Ukraine. I thought that they
Yeah.
were the better team against Portugal for the first
Yeah.
20
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
George Braus made the adjustments. Zikite came in and saved
Hmm.
Portugal to get to top of the group. So for me, the Ukraine looked exceptionally impressive. And going against Kazakhstan, I would not be surprised one bit if Ukraine could pull off the upset.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither, actually. Because Kazakhstan keeps on being just that Igita, 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 Igita. We all love Igita. I mean, you have to love Igita if you love futsal, no doubt. But you have to show more game. And this, I think they are kind of, how do you say, stuck there. They don't. They keep trying on giving you a dynamic game, a dynamic movement, but it's always the same thing. And this Ukraine shown us that they actually really can surprise you and really can make you go back, really back,
Yeah,
and not do the right movements or the movements you are supposed to do. I think Ukraine has a really good study for every game, and it showed to Portugal, and it will eventually happen with Kazakhstan. So Kazakhstan will have to be really well prepared to deal with that. It will be a great game, and I don't really know what to expect. I think some years ago you would see that and think, oh, Kazakhstan, no doubt. Now I really don't see that.
that last performance from Ukraine was something. Their first game
Yeah.
against the Netherlands, it was not impressive at all, but
No, no.
you
Yeah.
make the adjustments. Many teams struggle in the first game, and the Ukraine certainly was one of them. But I have Kazakhstan to advance, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the Ukraine
Yeah.
win. And honestly, in my opinion, this probably would go to penalties if the Ukraine pressure Kazakhstan as much as we
That's your
saw them.
bet.
That's what I'm going to put my $10 now. I'm going to put it on it, and of course, the match that we're looking forward to big time is Portugal versus Finland, top of Group A versus runner-up of B. Finland, in their debut, like Georgia, moving on to this round out there, and I mean, this is going to be really special. I mean, this is
It
something
is.
really unique. Miko Martic, the man who runs Futsal Planet, along with Luca
Mhm.
Ranalchiari, he, in his 100th game as manager of Finland, gets them to the knockout stage. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a
that's
story
amazing.
in its own, and
That's
he's worked
amazing.
hard. eight
That's a
years.
dream. I mean,
It's a Disney movie again. We're
yeah.
having all sorts of beautiful stories, and we want to promote them. So, Miko is just one of the most helpful guys in futsal. He's built a culture in Finland that
Mhm.
didn't exist at all in futsal,
Yeah.
and he's very confident that they can do damage to Portugal and upset them out there. But what's your thoughts on it? Taking away the fact that you're Portuguese, my mother's side is Portuguese, and I do favor Portugal because how are you going to go against the European champions, the world champions, and they're undefeated in this
I
tournament?
think I will always favorite Portugal, of course, but I would like to see Finland in other game because I mean they are like the underdog. Everyone loves this project. I mean it's love for football, for futsal. Everyone has to love what Finland has been doing in this Euro. It's amazing, and I'm happy to see Portugal playing with Finland. But in the other hand, I would like to see Finland in other game, whatever one, just so we can go us two through the competition. But well, how we say in Portugal, and Eric Mendoza actually said it in the documentary of the World Cup. In Portugal, if we think it's too easy, we will blow it up. We needed to feel like it's really hard, like we already felt with Spain in the World Cup. This kind of moments is where we know we are able to do it. But when we are more comfortable, sometimes things don't go too well to Portugal. It's like science. When we are too comfortable, we always have the tendency to blow it up.
This is the fact. It happened with football. It's happened for decades in football. Believe me, I've suffered many, many times in the stands watching Portugal play. And in futsal, one of the guys in the Portuguese team, I won't say, he was like, "You didn't favor Portugal to win? We're European champions, we're world champions." And I said, "Listen, you know why I don't? Is because anytime I ever pick Portugal to win, they always lose. So even at the last World Cup, I'm like, no, Portugal, no, it's good. They're happy to be in the semifinals." And I just kept in the back of my mind, I'm like, come on, Come on,
Yeah,
pick
let's
Portugal to
not
win.
say it too loud
Yeah,
because
exactly.
someone can listen to us and it all ends up
The
being
futsal
like
gods
a
are like, oh, you want Portugal to win? Lose. So
yeah.
that's it. So that's why I picked Russia. Besides the fact they're an amazing team, but
Yeah.
this is the only reason I'll never pick Portugal in the history of my life to win any tournament is because it always backfires on me. So I'm gonna just keep it shut. But I do see
We
Portugal
are
to
in the
advance
same boat
against.
on that, so
It's just the way. I think everybody feels that way. The Italians, the Brazilians, Germans, everyone should just stay humble and sit down, as we like to say. So Portugal versus Finland. Let's talk about the Portuguese team. You're an expert, with the team over there and with Sporting in particular. Tell us about the connection that Sporting has had, the influence on Portuguese futsal, not just in the Liga, but also on the national team and across
yeah.
Europe. What's been the big influence of the top team in the world right now?
You just to look at Portugal's squad, you see 7 players that are coached by Nuno Dias and are in Sporting. Unfortunately, we have to say that because I love him. Cardinal got injured. Yeah, life sucks to Cardinal. I cried. I'm not kidding. I cried when I saw that. I really cried because that guy deserved everything. He worked so damn hard and he worked so much for so damn month to be here now that he's the one who deserves to be there. But well, he will keep on. He's a big one on futsal, so he will keep on doing that. Um, well, we have João Matos, Tomás Passal, Pauleta, Miguel Ângelo, Eric Mendonça, Ziki, claro, Pani Varela. Um, I mean, you talking about the national team, you see the difference in the field when we have 4 players from Sporting playing. It flows naturally. They know everything they are supposed to do. I mean, I think they actually know what the other one is thinking or what the other one is going to do. Um, and it does all the difference. All the difference. It's not. Um, um, like too hard to understand that when Ziki is in the field, Portugal plays the double. Only Ziki alone. He's so young, so damn young. He's 20 years old. I think people don't even understand that when they see them they playing. Ziki is like our diamond in Sporting, who Nuno Dias were was every year like taking a little and taking another little. And I think that's amazing what Sporting does in the club actually with so many players that came from kids. Ezekiel is still a kid, but a kid that plays like a gentleman on the field. At least that's what I think, and that's what I see. Okay, I'm me, so sometimes you can trust me to talk about Tiki. But yeah, I seen these kids grow up and evolve, and I think it's amazing everything he's been doing for Portugal and for Sporting, and he deserves for sure more minutes. Another person that I think truly answers the question without being in all the fuzz is João Matos. João Matos made yesterday 175 games for Portugal. I mean, he has been for a long time a key player, not just in Portugal but in Sporting. He won everything that has to be won. He's like how do you say like a fossil, like a dinosaur in
Yeah,
Sporting, but only with for I think 34 years old or 43 or something like that. He's the personify that has you to see how Sporting evolves. What you have from the beginning to now. He's our captain for many years since John Bendit left Sporting, and he has done it like I think we say it a lot in Sporting. Is like Sporting's futsal and João Match are one thing. They are equals because the story of one another is the same. João never played anywhere else. Sporting for the last years never saw anyone else has João, and Nuno Dias can take so much from each player. I think sometimes I'm watching a game from another team, whatever, like Liga Placar one, and I think this guy is so good, but in the hands of Nuno Dias, it will be like fire. Sometimes you just see that kids that need the hand of someone that really understands, but has like time for you. And I think that's what Sporting does here with Nuno Dias. Nuno Dias has time for every each player that he's here, and that's not by fortune that Sporting is the best club of futsal in the world. I mean, okay, it's just an award. It's not just an award. It's the reality. We see it every day. Nuno Dias has done so much for Sporting futsal and for national futsal too, because we see these awards. Okay, it's individually, but for our country, have so many Portuguese people getting these awards. It does so much for our country and for our futsal that I think sometimes people don't understand how important they are. Um, and how we say Nuno Dias, we say Jorge Braz, we say the national team, we say Ziki. It's inevitable. We say Ana Catarina in Benfica, who won again the best goalkeeper. I
Third
mean,
year in a row.
yeah. I mean, there's no one can compare to Ana Catarina, so just a parenthesis about Ana. Um, but yeah, I think it's we have a lot of players in the national team that are from Sporting, and we have been having that since the World Cup, since the Euro we won. So that's no surprise. I think that will never be a surprise because we really take futsal seriously in Sporting, and I think that's what makes the difference. It's not just a sport that is there to try to win, to have one more sport. It's a sport that is set to evolve and give to the sports. And I think that's really what we do. Um, and we show that in the national team, in our Portuguese league, and when we go outside to a futsal Champions League, that hopefully we won it again.
Yeah, it was a clean sweep across the board, and I mean, Sporting has just been the dominant futsal team in Portugal. And I mean, I support Benfica because that's just been my team that my family supported. But I can admit that Sporting have just taken it to another level. In the club, I mean, for years in football, they didn't do anything for 20 years. For futsal, they were always one of the top. Always contending for the UEFA Final Four Champions League. But now they're really the team to beat across Europe out there. What is it about Sporting and their development youth system? Is it just that they're buying players and bringing them over, or are they developing them at the youngest ages? Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's more about that. They have kids. I mean, you have the example of João Match that came here like 18 years ago. I mean, that's amazing. He, like a professional futsal player, doesn't know anything else uh, besides sporting. And I think that's so great to see that. I mean, we also, among Tomás Passó, he has a twin brother, that is Bernardo Passó, a goalkeeper. They are both in sporting also since a long time ago. Um, And I think what you see here with them, with Eric Mendonça too, and with Ziki, of course, Miguel Angel, that was sometime apart from here, but now he's back. He's also um, from Sporting in the beginning. You see that I mean, Sporting, of course, if he want to be this international futsal force. You have to buy some athletes to do that. How we bought Gita, how Rocha in the past, how we have now Valtinho. We already had Dieguinho, but the main squad is always athletes that know what sporting is, and I think that's what is important here. It's that DNA we bring to futsal. Because if you see, there are some things with João Matos and Eric Mendonça, for example. Eric Mendonça were for some time called like the next captain when João Matos retired. Let's take a minute to not do that so far, João, please. Like the next captain, because he follows all the steps that João followed. His drive to feel the team, to understand the team, to to understand what everyone is thinking there is more important than I'm here now, I'm an international player, please serve me. No, it's not that what we have here. And I think one of the greatest examples of that is the last UEFA Futsal Champions League, where Sporting won under an amazing union. More than the talent, we had a lot of talent. Come on, Alex Merlin, Rocha, Gita, a lot. We can't really say we haven't. But if you want to compare, let's compare it to Benfica, who has a budget, an enormous budget, but is not doing what Sporting is doing, and is like some stairs below Sporting right now in futsal. Why is that? Benfica is now trying to get some youth to his squad, but it's a long process that Sporting already has from years and years now. So it shows there in the finals. You can't. I mean, we faced Barcelona, like this huge team with so many talents. You can just beat talent with talent. You have to have that extra, and that extra was the DNA that kids put there, and not just Sporting. If you see, Portugal plays so damn good when they have all the kids inside, like Ziki, Afonso, um, Tomás. Eric is also a kid. Pauleta too. They don't have fear, and they are just all there for each other and for the team, not to have his ego rubbed. I think that's a different to them. Big for some other teams, so big as Sporting, like Barcelona and so on.
Well, I mean, that's a super detailed analysis of the club. I mean,
Sorry.
no, it's good. This is what the show is all about. It's about education, information, and entertainment. And I mean, I'm learning more every time. And especially since it's Portuguese futsal, I'm always looking to know a little bit more out there. And, I don't, believe me, the longer you want to go, the better we can do it. But I know we're almost at the hour mark out there. And so I think actually it kind of gives me an idea to do a future show on some of the top clubs in the world because, I always talk about the NBA and how big it came in the 80s and especially the 90s when Michael Jordan was there. Now Falcao's gone, Ricardinho's gone. And I mean, who's the next big star? Is it Fahal? Is he the Coca-Cola like I think he is, Is it Pani Varela? Is it Ziki is the next marketable? Is it Leozinho from Brazil, who's got a
I
lot of
love Leozinho.
he's fun to watch and
Yeah.
he brings the entertainment that people want to see. He's young, he's very, very confident. Some say cocky, but you know what? If he backs it up, hey, let him talk all he wants. I
I
don't care.
think Leozinho can be like the Neymar of futsal, kind of that.
As long as he's not rolling on the ground for 4 hours
Yeah,
consecutive, I think
yeah,
I'll be happy with that output. Well, tell us, Maria. I know it's late over there down in Portugal. What can people do to find your work, and where can they follow you on social media?
Well, they can follow me, of course, on Twitter. That's where I met Kris, actually. My name is Maria Peixor, how you say here. So follow me. It's like that's where I talk about futsal more. I think we have so much space to talk about other things. There, I follow my passion and I talk about a bunch of people that has the same passion of me, and I think that's amazing. Um, on Instagram, of course, too, if you want to follow me, Maria P. Jorge, uh, 1906, 1906, that's Sporting.
I'll send the
um,
link online for sure so people can get it out there. And
yeah,
they have Google Translate for Twitter. So most of her stuff is in Portuguese. But if you just click the
yeah,
tweet,
yeah, they are.
press Google Translate, it comes out in great English. For a
Yeah,
guy like
that's
me, I can
an
understand.
amazing tool that Twitter gave to us. It's
Huge.
amazing.
Yeah, no, it helped me. It's very valuable because I'd have to sit there and call my tia Maria, Anna, or Teresa, or Gina and be like, hey, listen, can you read this for me? You know, it's so embarrassing. You know, you grow up with your grandmother, you can speak Portuguese to 6 years old, and then you move
Yeah.
away and you can't speak anything anymore. It's embarrassing. But thank you, Google Translate, for helping me. And thank you, Maria, for joining us today on the show. It was an absolute pleasure. I can never get enough of the Portuguese futsal information out there. And this is the only time I'm going to celebrate sporting in my life because I'm a Benfica guy. But for you, I'll pop this one out there. Make
Let's
sure,
just celebrate Portugal. So
and 3 wins in 3 games and a big game coming up against Finland in the next round. Inside Futsal, number 8, with Maria Pinto Jorge, an authority on Sporting Lisboa and the Portuguese national
not
team.
Sporting Lisboa. Okay, never say that again.
You were going to catch me on that. I said it and you caught me on it. Okay, you got me, but I had to say it. I know. You got Sporting CP. That's how it is.
Sporting
And
Clube de Portugal.
of course, but we, as Benfiquistas, we're always trying to get you guys a little bit. And especially after you beat us today, it was a harsh one. Guys, make sure you follow this girl and make sure you follow Zona Technica as well. I promise you, one of the best futsal sites in the world out there. Very accessible, a lot of insight. Maria Pinto Jorge, you're amazing. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the show sometime soon. And enjoy the rest of the tournament.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much, and keep doing this because it's amazing.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.